Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, it is time for us to do the best of 2023. We've done all the classes. We will do the best champions in the game. Make sure you check the playlist on my channel. We're going to call it probably top 10s December 2023. And we, like I said, we update this semi-annually. As you hopefully know by now, I pull the Discord server. People roles of honor are able to nominate any champion they want. Every single person on the server gets to vote, and it produces a wonderful top 10 because so many people are playing the game at a different pace, different levels of experience, longevity, that sort of thing. And I really am proud and I love showing this, and I appreciate the server for sharing all of this information with me. Now, there is a timestamp in the description so you can jump directly to my rankings, but make sure for at least once or preferably twice, you've heard the explanation on how the metrics work from Cabro and or from Baron Vega. They both did a phenomenal job. And then the one important thing I always want to make sure everyone hears in every single video is add 20 points to the champion that is your favorite champion. Make sure they're the one that you think is the best, or at least the best for you to rank up. Yes, we're giving rank up advice here and our opinions on the power levels of champions and how helpful they are in MCOC. But ultimately, you need to know how to play them well, and there's a very good chance the champion you enjoy most is the one you're going to get the most out of. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the rankings. Hey, this is Baron Vega. Vega's asked me to do the introduction and explanation of his metric system that he and his friends from SSX came up with. In general, every champion is given a total score out of 40. I have been given a 31, which although I've been told is extremely good, I do believe it should be significantly higher, and I'm sure you agree with me. General is a possible 10 out of 10. This is essentially just how good is the champion. We all kind of intuitively know it. How many powerful abilities do they have? If new content comes out, are they some of the first champions you think of? Battlegrounds. It's an important mode. Great rewards, and a chance to really use your roster and strategy and knowledge of this game. There's a possible 10 points in your defensive capabilities to your champions was able to be included. I'm a great defender and a fantastic attacker. Therefore, I got an 8 out of 10. It should be a 10, but it's an 8. I'll take that up with Vega later. In war, you are not allowed to include your defensive prowess in the score. It is also out of 10 points. I've been given an 8, which, as we all know, is ridiculous. But I am told that it means this is a reliable attacker that is used often to take a variety of nodes and defenders, and you frequently see them used in high-tier war. Long-form content. Necropolis has the best rewards in the game, and long-form has a total score possibility of 5. Again, I should be a 5 out of 5, but they've given me a 3, meaning I was either able to be used consistently for a fight or two, or maybe very good in one lane in Necropolis, or I was good in Gauntlet or EOP. I happen to know I was phenomenal in all of them, and Vega is just wrong here, but that's fine. We'll move on. And then ease of use is a possible total 3 points. 3 meaning you are easy. Think of your Archangels. I bet that Cabro gets a 3 out of 3. That guy is mindless and simple. And then the toughest is a 1, meaning your Tigers and your Kate Bishops, and I am too smart to ask anyone to spend that much time trying to learn how to play me. A 2 is just right, and this is the 1 score, aside from the 10 out of 10, that Vega got correct. All right, it's time for the best of 2023. This was a banger year. I think this was definitely the best year for new champions into the game. Power levels, well designed. The team just knocked it out of the park. Like, even the champions that aren't on this list are really good. And then, of course, the balance team's done a phenomenal job of like tuning them up, or a little tweak here and there and that sort of thing. So I think these are all in a phenomenal spot. And then also by now, I hope you're used to the idea that Baron Zemo leaked a previous iteration of the scoring format. There's really only 38 points possible, with ease of use being a best of 3 out of 3. Now, I will talk briefly about each of these champions, but I went way more in depth on the top 10s for each class. So if you come into this and you're like, I'd like a little more information, just a nugget, you can go and check out the video too. Trust me, they're really good. I know, I saw them, I did them. They're great. All right, so what we're gonna do for this is I'm gonna tell you if I think that this champion is kind of like plateaued, if they're going to maybe go down in the meta, or if I think they're actually on the rise. Pretty cool. I'm going to have some fun with that. Here we go. So I'm going to give a shout out to Morbis, VidVision, and then the one we actually have published here that I had to do a double take, Werewolf. I actually can't believe that Werewolf isn't in the top 10. I had to go back and check my own list, and I see somehow Werewolf is not in the top 10. What kind of crazy world is this? Greater point to just show you how amazing 2023 is. Coming in at number 10 on her own, barely beating out Morbius, Vision, and Werewolf, and a bunch of other champions too, is Kushala. Now, I don't know if you guys know this. I got to help be part of the design process. I got to be part of it. I didn't help. DLL did it. He's a genius. But I did get to be part of it, and I definitely feel she's on the rise. I feel very strongly in that. In fact, today in War, with this new tactic and everything, and it is Tard, do not get me wrong, she came in and she just absolutely dusted a rank 3 7-star awakened Korg on a node where he was healing, and she demolished it. Now, I happen to play it very well, to toot my own horn though a little bit, and she does have a high skill ask. We show that with that ease of use, but I think we're just getting started. She's going to be an interesting one because she's not in the 6-star featured, and she is only in the Titan Crystal for the 7 stars, so people just don't have her. I've put out a ton of content on her. I will continue to do that. But she's someone who I think as we go through 2024, people are going to get her. They're really going to enjoy playing her, or they're going to see videos and have her, and they're going to see the videos of her doing all these incredible things. And so she's going to pick up a lot of steam in 2024, particularly in Battlegrounds and in War. Already shown her in Necropolis. I think she is just getting started. All right, now we have a 3-way tie for the number 7 spot, right? Because there's a 3-way tie. And this one's with Photon. Yes, she is a phenomenal defender, but do not sleep on her offensive capabilities. We talked about this a little bit, where the War tactic was accentuating her damage significantly. Well, that tactic's gone. So I think people are going to kind of have a bit of a lull on her, a bit of a down. People are surprised. I did my best to get the word out that she was a very good attacker, but her damage was looking better than it will without that tactic. As a result, I think she's plateaued. And that's okay. That's a good thing. I think she's very much hitting her design targets. I think she's very good. 29 is an incredible score. You're going to see people continue to use her offensively. There's people like me who think she is a perfectly designed champion for this game. And so I think this is it. She's going to stay a very strong defender, where you're going to very much want and hope you have a pure RPG counter for her. And if not, you really got to know how to play her well. And even then, things can spiral out of control. I think she's holding steady. And I think you should rank up your Photons and feel good about your use of her in 2024 and beyond. Okay, let's move on to the other champion tied for the number 7 spot. Or the other champions, there's 3 champions tied at the number 7 spot. So there's one more after this. Cassie's a bit of an interesting one for me, in that she feels very solid footing in the science class. Despite the science class being so strong, not only being very good champions overall, but there being so many of them in breadth. Like we talked about that at length in the science video, about how different, I think it was the number 10 champions, rated champions, were how different all 3 of them were for each other. And she's unique in the science class. Like buff immunity no longer is like this own thing. It's like, well, she's also got additional immunities, but she needs her debuff to stake, which is common in science, but Titania doesn't need that. There's just all these back and forth. The class feels so mature and well developed right now that I feel like Cassie is stable. I don't expect her to become more prevalent, especially because she's not a 7-star. You can still do great things with a 6-star. I'm still very excited about taking my 6 stars to rank 5 and ascending them, but I don't expect her to pick up steam. Let's put it that way. Her play style, her skill ask is a little high too, and that can sometimes be a bit of a turnoff. I think she's very good here. I think she fits at number 29. And one of the best champions of 2023 means you are a phenomenal champion. Let's check out the other champion who comes in tied for the 7th spot. All right, the other champion tied with 29 total points, a phenomenal score at the 7th spot, is Adam Warlock. Now, you know, based on some of the other stuff I just said, you would think, well, he's available as a 7-star now. He's probably going to be on the rise. And I understand, but let's take that one step farther. Is that as of right now, as of filming this, my understanding or my belief is that those champions that were in that 7-star gladiator pool, or I can't even think what the term was for, but essentially it's with the banquet event, that they're not going to become available in the basic crystal or the Titan crystal, at least for a while, meaning people aren't going to get them awakened. They're not going to be at high sig. It does open up some nice abilities for him, but he's so good that he might be good enough even without it. I know very smart players are already taking him to rank 2, and they're doing some pretty eye-popping stuff with him. But it's also, I think, going to prevent people from ascending him, which would have been something that would put him more in the forefront in our eyesight on Twitter, on YouTube, and these sorts of things. So here's my actual prediction for him, is he's going to stay like almost like a sleeper. People aren't going to be talking about much. He's kind of someone you don't want to fight. Someone's going to rank him up, do some cool stuff with him. But the most part, the community is going to kind of just like rank up their Hulklings, or they're going to rank up their 7-stars like Gore or Odin or something like that. Adam Warlock is very, very good. And so this is just what I'm actually predicting, is that towards the latter half of 2024, if and when he finally comes into the basic or the Titan, or when more people get him, people are really going to start to see how incredibly powerful he is. I also think, unfortunately for him, the AI needs to be cleaned up. Now, you know, we're all aware the AI's got some issues. And if that can get cleaned up, that's going to help him out tremendously, because he really relies on you being able to control the AI as well, too. I like Adam Warlock. He was someone who I actually wanted to pull from that crystal. Now, I'm very happy with the way it turned out. But I think we're going to, like I said, I think we're going to see some cool stuff out of him, but it's going to take the AI getting cleaned up and more people to have him, especially as a 7-star, for us to see his increased usage and to go up in ratings. All right. Silk on her own at number 6, coming in with 30 points, breaking that barrier there. She is truly phenomenal. Now, I don't have Silk. I don't have the 6-star or the 7-star. I just auto ban her every time I see her in a Battlegrounds deck, because she destroys my 7-star beefy Mangog and Sasquatch. She just rolls them like it's no one's business. I see what she does to Rintrah. We've seen FinTech use her. Campo's done tremendous things with her. So many players done phenomenal things. And she's a unique one in that she came along early enough where people actually ascended their 6-star, even though she eventually has now come out as a 7. So I think we're going to see her hold steady. I think we're going to continue to see her be phenomenal in War and phenomenal in Battlegrounds. She doesn't seem too affected by various metas, any more so than your skill champions do as well. I think as Necropolis dies down, right, as more and more people complete it and get through it, or kind of like take their time with it, you'll see less emphasis on long form, meaning more emphasis on War and Battlegrounds as well. I think she's going to stay right where she is. I think the community really values her, sees how strong she is. And there's no like new mode, at least that we're aware of, that's coming out that she would be exceptionally good for. So I think a 30, I think this is where, and I think we're going to see her in those top echelons of champions for quite a long time. There's nothing about her that makes me think she's going to age poorly. Shield. Hopefully you saw the skill one, because if you didn't, you're like, what the heck is this? I really recommend you go check out the skill one and win at length and really talk this through, because a lot of time and effort went into these. And Bittersteel, I know, surprise, surprise, this guy named Bittersteel, right? A phenomenal player, showing us the way of so many champions for, I think, years now. And subscribe to this channel. As a result of this, and the fact that I think you might even still be surprised by seeing this, she's on the rise. Now, I don't know if she's going to go up higher than 31, although I could see her Battleground score going up, actually, and potentially War. So she may actually go up in scoring, but I think she's definitely going to go up in community prominence and community value and the way we all think of her. She's a fantastic champion, and I don't want to spoil any of it for you. Go check out the skill video if you're interested, or you're wondering, or if you've pulled Sheila and you're like, I'm just not seeing it. Go check out that video. We talk more in depth about her, and then also, like I said, subscribe to Bittersteel's channel. Tell them that I sent you, and tell them you're demanding the tapes. We're demanding the Sheila tapes now. Bitter, get those out. I don't care if you're celebrating Christmas with your family. We want those videos. She's great. I want her myself. Every time I open up a Titan Crystal, she is one of my top asks. Yeah, let's move on. Coming in at the number 4 spot was Phantom Man, who in 1 year has already placed himself at the absolute top of the tech rankings. Check those out. I think if that sounds surprising to you, go ahead and check out that video, because you're going to see with all these scores, made a lot of sense. Ends up tied with another champion for the top spot, but he's up there. He's got a really nice form of power control. Now, you need to know how to play him well, though, to really utilize that. The SB2 can do some massive damage. The SB1 is a nice way. Like I said, you can do some power control. B McG showed us how to play Future Ant-Man in a way where your opponent never even throws a special, and you're doing really good damage. And that's just like one way of playing him. You don't have to play him that way. You get them awakened, you get those, they're not immunities, but you're getting rid of those 2 buffs even faster. He's got a heal. He's out the one tech that kind of laughs in the face of Gallon. There's not much else to say about him. I think he's holding steady. I would say he's going to get better in the community's eyes, but I think everyone understands how great he is, and I don't expect his scores to go up. I think it's just more a mature place. So I think he's going to either stay the same or kind of go up as far as like his prestige within the community's eyes. He's an absolutely fantastic champion. If you don't If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go check out BMXG's channel. Check out the tech top 10 and know that he was my first tech rank 5 and definitely one of my first thoughts on who I'm going to ascend. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a tie for the number 2 spot. A tie for the number 2 spot. Now, hopefully you saw the mutant rankings and you know that I actually think he's going to go up. I think he's going to go up as long as he doesn't get nerfed. Now, to be clear, I'm not predicting a nerf. I'm saying he's the first champion where I'm not certain he's not, right? When Gallon, I was like, guys, he's not going to get nerfed. Mantis came out and I was like, guys, I think she needs to get buffed. And you guys are all like, you're wrong. You crazy. I like you, Vega, but you crazy. You crazy. And I was like, I'm going to hold strong on these things. And these have been happening. He's the first one where I was like, I need to remind the community that this could happen. I'm not saying he will, it could. If it doesn't, I actually think he's either going to hold at this score or go up. I mean, he's going to go up to a 10 in general, potentially a 4 in long form. And right now people are saying that he's very tough to use. I think that could change to a 3. And so we just have like a near perfect score champion. He is phenomenal. He's amazing. He feels like a true breakthrough. I don't think he's broken, but he feels like a breakthrough champion in a class. Apocalypse felt very similarly. When Apocalypse came in, TJ and I think it was Campo said that he feels like an updated Apocalypse. I completely agree with that. That was kind of where I was running with that too. He's not the same as Apocalypse, but it's like Apocalypse kind of broke a mold. He's like he himself was going to push forward the relationship between mutant and skill, and I think Onslaught has done the same. And the real irony is, just like Apocalypse, or yeah, not irony, whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about. I feel like Onslaught's doing that for nodes as well. Nodes that we were seeing in War and things like that were some of the toughest nodes in the game. And he just is like, I don't care. And he automates it. Very similar to Apocalypse in that way. Great champion. I love him. I'm so happy I got my 6-star. I just ascended him thanks to the banquet milestones there. So I think he's on his way up. Weird as it is to say, a champion with a score of 34 and these scores, I think he's actually on his way up. Tied at number 2 spot, we've got Absorbing Man. Now, we've talked at length about how amazing he is, right? DLL designed him, DLL's first champion, absolute banger. The shifting immunities, the various damage sources. Skill ask. I've talked to you about the SP3. I haven't shown it as much as I've talked about it, but I've shown it a little bit in some War videos. I think he's going to stay the same. I don't expect his scores to go up. They can't get higher in general BGs or War. He's not going to all of a sudden become better in long-form content. To get these scores, you do have to play him well. There is a high skill ask. That's like a theme with DLL champions, that there's a high skill ask, but you're richly rewarded for it, right? I really enjoy that sort of spirit or whatever you want to call it in a champion. And as a result, I think he's going to stay the same. I don't think the community is all of a sudden, I don't think players who have tried to learn to use him over the last 3 or 4 months are all of a sudden going to be like, oh, now I get him. I would say, though, try at least one more time, because he is that good. There's a reason why I've ascended him, and so many players have ascended him, because we want as much time with our Absorbing Man as we possibly can. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon, too. I think as long as 6 stars are relevant, which is going to be a bit, Ascension is very, very strong. I think Absorbing Man is going to stay at the apex of this game, and I feel very, very confident about that. All right, let's go and move on to the number 1 champion of 2023. The number 1 champion of 2023, lo and behold, is another DLL champion. All 4 of his champions are in the top 10. Is anyone really surprised? No, of course you're not. Long form, absolute queen, right? Up there with Shuri and with Wong, in my opinion, those 3. Her scores can't go higher. I really don't think that she's not going to get easier to use. Okay. And that's the only place where her scores could go up. She's not going to get easier to use. She's phenomenal in short form. She's phenomenal in moderate. She's phenomenal in long form. I think the way Kabam could slow her down is obviously to introduce some cold snap immunities. I think that's obvious. The other thing that could happen, and this was a bit of a surprise with Necropolis for me, was that the debuffs that are being put on aren't stronger. You're not destroyed for having them. And so what that's allowing Kate to do is get up her tranquilized to 100% or higher. And so she can survive long enough in the fight, and then she takes over the fight because she's no longer getting those debuffs. A very simple fix would be to have them be super punishing, like maybe like a hazard shift or something like that. So if Necropolis had come out that way, she'd still be very good in long form, but she wouldn't have the 5 out of 5. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. But like I said in the skill video, it almost felt like Necropolis was built for Kate. where they're like, let's even keep her closer to the defender so she can punish those specials, which was really nice. As a player who enjoys playing Kate, that was really, really cool to see that turn up. But regardless of that, we know how big her damage can ramp up. She's phenomenally well designed. She has a very high skill ask. But if you reach that skill ask, you are richly, richly rewarded. These are the best of 2023. Let me know who you think we got right. Let me know if we think we got anything wrong. And if there's any champion you're like, no, this champion should be on here. I got to tell you right now, and some of this might be motivated reasoning, but I really feel like Shocker should have been on here. And I will not be surprised if we revisit this in June. And let me know, should we revisit this in June? Should we do the best of 2023 in June, knowing we've had a little more time with them? Because I do think that would be fun. I think Shocker is going to be on this list. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Massive shout out and thank you to my boys over at SSX. So many of them spent a ton of time sharing their knowledge, their expertise, and their experience in these modes, and also helped me come up with the formula in order to rank these champions. Specific thank you and shout out to Bitterstill, Campo, DLL, Gara, Na, Odysseus, Outline, Royu, Shibi, Simula, The Strands, Zahid, Matt Duhill, and of course my boy, Egatron. All right.